Hello. Well, I'm sure you've all heard the news now about the Austrian woman who was arrested and fined because she publicly asked whether Mohammed could be referred to as a paedophile because he had sex with a 9-year-old girl. She took her case after she'd had the sentence imposed on her. She took her case to the European Court of Human Rights, saying that it was her human right to refer to a man as a paedophile if the actions he performed match our definition of paedophilia, and that therefore she shouldn't have been arrested. The European Court of Human Rights deliberated and came up with the finding that her human rights had not been violated and that she was justifiably convicted for the following reason. Her statements had been capable of arousing justified indignation and could only be understood as having been aimed at demonstrating that Muhammad was not worthy of worship. Hang on a minute. Only Allah is worthy of worship. Muhammad is not supposed to be worshipped at all. In fact, worshipping a man is supposed to be a sin. What's going on here? It seems to me that the ECHR doesn't understand much about Islam. But then, who does? Anyway, as you were. I have nothing but admiration for the ECHR's bold decision. When will we, Dhimmi, understand that you must never, ever, ever, at any time, in any place, and for any reason, criticise Islam or Islam's prophet? But then, she only got a fine. In a Muslim country, she would have been at best whipped. So the punishment was lenient. You've got to admit that. You see, all Muslims know that you can never criticise Islam. Muslims can't criticise Islam, as well as non-Muslims. But Muslims are trained to it from earliest childhood, and it's a sign of the mercy of their God that some leeway is being extended to us ignoramuses who haven't had the benefit of Muslim thought control, education. And look, I can prove to you how thorough that education can be in this little clip from an Egyptian TV programme. I'll intersperse some information freely found on the internet which might provide some context to what this man is saying.
المسلمين عملوا 3 أشياء لم يفعلوا 3 أشياء لم يفعلها أي أمة. كلهم عملوا
عملتها الأمم
التانية كلها عملوها إلا إحنا.
اللي هي إيه؟
شرفا وتسامحا. 1، إحنا لم نقاتل أبدا شعوب.
الكلام على ان الخلافه العثمانيه عملت مذبحه ضد الارمن.
كذب.
ليه؟
واللي قال كده الارمن هم اللي غدروا. القصه التاريخيه دي انا عاوز اقول لك الموقف ده ليه قصه تاريخيه احكيها لك، بس ده لم يحصل. هذا كذب. هذه كذبه عملها مين؟ الانجليز ساعتها عشان عاوزين يسقطوا الخلافه الاسلاميه.
Well, first of all, you can see he starts with we didn't do it and then they started it. But let's look at what Muslims said about this. While in Diyarbakir, El Hussein witnessed the massacre of Armenians in and around the area. El Hussein wrote much of what he witnessed in his book, Martyred Armenia, which provides an eyewitness account of the massacres and exposes its systemic nature. As for the killings of Christians,
المسيحيين عملنا مرة مذبحة لهم، عملنا مذبحة للأمازيغ، للبربر، لأي حد.
We have this that happened in Libya quite recently. I mean, this sort of thing has been going on for a while anyway, but this is a good example. On February the 12th, 2015, the Islamic State released a report showing photos of 21 Egyptian Coptic Christian construction workers that they kidnapped in the city of Sirte and whom they threatened to kill. They were completely innocent, ordinary people, and they just scooped them up and took them to a beach and killed them. On April 19th, 2015, there was another video in which they got 30 Ethiopian Christians and killed them. So that's the Christian murders that never happened. Now we have
ما عملنا مذبحة عرقية أبدا ولا قتلنا نساء ولا أطفال أبدا.
the killing of women, he says they didn't do. Girls as young as 9 were raped, pregnant women, and then they were killed. And here is a photo of a Yazidi girl who was raped and then killed by ISIS fighters. Sorry about that. And then
الأمر الثالث لم نجبر أحد على الإسلام أبدا.
there is no such thing as forced conversion. Here we are. Christian woman recalls horror of forced conversion. Everyone knows that the Muslim authorities forced conversion. Sometimes they merely encouraged it, that's true. But in many cases, they just did raids. Well, look what happened to those girls in Nigeria. They were simply kidnapped and then they were forced to convert. So absolutely everything that cleric has said is a complete lie. But then there you are. That's the problem with Islam. You can't criticize it, so you can't correct it either. Loyalty to the religion and then to the clan is very important in Muslim culture. And it's why the Pakistani community is, in general, not owning up to the white slave traffic so many of their members have been running for so many years. Well, it's not just white slave, is it? They went for Sikh girls as well. It was just general non-Muslim slaves they were taking. But they won't admit to it. It's either not Islam, these people aren't really Muslims, or it didn't happen. There's some excuse. It's all part of the same mindset as you saw from that Egyptian cleric. And I want you to compare and contrast the difference between that guy and Bhai Mohan Singh of the Sikh Awareness Society.
Amir Singh he's not a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally false. He's born in a Sikh family. His birth certificate states Amir Singh Dhariwal. His passport states Amir Singh Dhariwal.
You see, he doesn't mind owning up to it because Sikhs can criticise Sikhism without losing their heads or their fingers. Indeed, you know what happened to that journalist, Khashoggi, don't you? The one who was kidnapped in the Saudi embassy in Turkey and was then, dismembered to death, apparently. I didn't know this when I made my last video, which mentioned it. He was a member of the Saud family and he spoke out against them, so he was a traitor. And as soon as I read that they'd cut off his fingers, I knew what was going on and why. I shall cast awe into the hearts of those who disbelieve, so strike at the necks and strike at every finger joint of theirs. One of the standard punishments is to cut off the fingers of traitors, and it's been recorded in several incidents that happened during Muhammad's lifetime. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, the moral is that Islam is incapable of self-criticism and self-correction. And the worst thing is that the European Court of Human Rights, indeed the whole of Europe, is colluding with the Muslim world generally in their fantasies about their own superiority and blamelessness. and the sacredness of their religion, which cannot be criticised by anyone else, and indeed even by themselves. This is not doing European society, or even Muslim society, any good at all. I'm very grateful for financial contributions, but if you don't want to give money, you can still help a lot by sharing this and other videos I've made. Also, remember to check your subscription from time to time, as sometimes subscriptions get erased for one reason or another. Till next time.